Hello everybody, Ben Woodruff here, and in today's video we are going to be discussing turkeys. It's Thanksgiving. I wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving, and of course this is a time of year when turkeys are on people's minds, when kids do the little handprint thing where you trace your hand and make it into a turkey. But a lot of people don't know much about turkeys. They're a strange and unusual bird. They're powerful, they're very cool, and they have a rich history. So first of all, let's go back to prehistory. This is a bird that's been around a long time. We get a lot of them from the La Brea tar pits. We have many skeletons of turkeys from the La Brea tar pits, which has actually led to an interesting piece of information. We have wild turkeys all in North America, but turkeys are from Mexico. They are not from the United States. But it seemed that there were these ancient turkeys here as well. Well, it turns out there's a little twist to the story. It turns out all the turkeys that are quote-unquote wild turkeys in the United States today are not wild. They're feral. There was a wild turkey. You can see skeletons of these at the La Brea tar pits in California. This is the species that was all across North America. Well, I mean United States, northern North America. To the south in Mexico, you had two turkeys that we have today. The what we call the wild turkey, which has been domesticated. We'll talk about that in a second. The quote-unquote wild turkey, which was wild in Mexico, and also the smaller but even more decadent ocellated turkey. The ocellated turkey has even a regular turkey has beautiful markings and patterns and spots, but the ocellated turkey is incredible. It's really colorful. Both of these were, tropical Mexico, Mesoamerica, and the wild turkey was domesticated and has been domesticated into all the breeds we have today. There's all kinds of strange color morphs that you can see, and of course, normally the turkeys that are farmed for food are the white varieties. They're just kind of a plain white turkey. But those are all selectively bred from the wild turkey of Mexico. Well, in ancient times, people in Mexico were trading baby turkeys, little turkey chicks, as a trade item northward. We know of the vast trade networks that were going back and forth between what is now the United States and Mexico. Chaco Canyon was a hub where turkeys passed through. Also, live macaws. This is a site where live macaws were brought up from Mexico and traded throughout the southwestern United States. Turkeys were also traded. Now, also there's a place just barely into the Mexican border called Paquimé that had hundreds of turkey pens and macaw breeding pens. So these are birds that were not only raised, but bred, and selectively bred for, this one lays more eggs, we're going to keep breeding it. Turkey eggs were valuable, turkey meat was valuable, and turkey feathers were priceless. Not only are turkey feathers beautiful, all of them, every feather is good for decoration and looks, but the wing feathers on turkeys are the best feather on earth for fletching an arrow. Even to this day, if you use real feathers on your arrows, it's turkey wing feathers. But these feathers are also very colorful and very beautiful and elaborate, and we see many tribes in North America began to do all kinds of headdresses with turkey feathers, but also elaborate woven turkey capes. And these were made basically by making a net and then sewing or weaving each individual feather onto this. This would be very warm, but it would also be very beautiful. So we know that this was a bird of great value. Now we know the tribes in the Puebloan people and the Chacoans, the people that today also we call the Anasazi, all these Puebloan peoples of the South would get these turkeys from the north. And we know from the photos in the early 1900s how they were raised. You would take a turkey and you would stake it out in your plaza, and you would put a jess on and a little bit of a leash, and people would come by and bring food and bring scraps. These are omnivores. They mostly eat plants, but they also eat bugs, and they'll eat scraps of meat. They're omnivorous. And because of that, you just raise them until they get big enough, and then you can fatten up, you can eat them. But there was also great reverence for turkeys. most definitely in Mesoamerica. We know that the Maya people, the Aztecs, the Zapotecs, the Toltecs had a great reverence for turkeys that is lost on us today. We normally think of turkeys as kind of a gobble gobble, kind of a dumb weird bird. But we know from the writings of the Maya that there are many warriors that had turkey in their name. This is Red Turkey, this great warrior. And we're like, Red Turkey? Seems strange. But we know that from Mesoamerica. We also know into what is now the United States, like areas like New Mexico, Mimbres region pottery shows a profusion of turkey depictions. Now, most Puebloan people did not do figurative depictions in their pottery. They normally did patterns and zentangle and just kind of geometric shapes. But in the Mimbres region, they did figurative depiction, and we see a lot of turkeys. So we know turkeys were revered, and we know that turkeys were on their minds. So keeping turkeys was a special thing. Raising them, eating them, they're incredible. Turkeys, even today, they're one of the most efficient animals. They're almost entirely meat. Most animals, if you hunt or butcher an animal, there's a lot of things you might not want to eat on it. And there's a lot of bone and a lot of tendon and a lot of guts. Some people are eating some of the, viscera, but nowadays we don't usually. But turkeys are almost entirely meat. And part of that is because they're incredible flyers. A lot of people do not realize this. Turkeys can fly, and they're very good at it. They're powerful flyers, and when they take off, it sounds like a jet. They just go up, and they're very powerful flyers. And again, it's those powerful flight muscles, that's the turkey breast meat that we eat at Thanksgiving, and it's those powerful primary wing feathers that are the ones that we use for fletching arrows. So turkeys have a rich history, and again, it's fascinating to think that the turkeys that were up from Mexico were being shipped up to tribes in what is now the United States. And some of those got loose because the North American turkey either was killed off or died off. North America meaning United States. But the ones that were brought up from Mexico, then some of those got loose and populated, and that's what we have today. So there are wild turkeys in Mexico, and there was a separate species in the United States that is now extinct. But wild turkeys from Mexico that were brought up and semi-domesticated that got loose have repopulated the United States. So the wild turkey today of the United States is actually a feral turkey from the Mexican variety. It's fascinating. So we owe a lot to this animal. There's so much food that we eat that is made out of turkey or has turkey in it, and this helps feed the world. But they're beautiful animals in their own right. They're odd looking. We always depict them with the tail out. Most of the time they're running like a velociraptor. They have the tail in. But the males will display and show off with their tail and show their bravado. But that's not what's normally happening. Normally turkeys are going around, tail down, straight behind them, like a velociraptor. And it's really cool to see them out in the field. So I hope you enjoyed learning a little bit more about turkeys, and I hope you all have a wonderful Thanksgiving. Always remember that life is a gift. So never stop learning and never stop exploring. We'll see you next time.